Yeah, you're the guy who broke into Stu Leonard's that time. You stole all those pork loins.
The most unhinged Christopher lines will never stop being funny to me. Like, how do you top, "You're the guy that broke into Stu Leonard's that one time. You stole all those pork loins."
Christ, you fucking kidding?
You were saying she had a nice...
I was trying to say something positive because she's your friend.
I was trying to say something positive because she's your friend. No one weaponizes sincerity quite like Chrissy. And of course, Adriana. My uterus got pierced.
My uterus got pierced.
Both of them?
There's only one. That's ovaries.
So what does that mean? You can't get pregnant?
Christopher, without missing a beat, both of them? They say no two uteruses are the same, but do they really know that for sure? Maybe somewhere out there is another Adriana uterus doppelganger. Maybe it hasn't been wrecked by the same botched medical disaster, but spiritually, genetically, cosmically, who's to say? That's all I'm saying. Then there's the absolute venom in, I'm killing myself? The way you fucking eat, you're gonna have a heart attack by the time you're 50.
I'm gonna kill myself? The way you fucking eat, you're gonna have a heart attack by the time you're 50?
Wild how often the show joked about Tony having a heart attack, and then James Gandolfini actually passed the same way. Cocaine and steaks, delicious, yes, but moderation is your friend, kids. And only Christopher could explain a dead dog with, she must have crawled under there for warmth.
I fell asleep.
What?
She must have crawled under there for warmth.
Are you fucking crazy?
And say it like he's describing the weather. Or his delusional flex. I mean, as far as male modeling goes, obviously, I would be a success.
As far as male modeling, I'd probably be a success, but I wouldn't want to be around those fucking people.
Because sure, why shouldn't he conquer the runway between hits? Then, whose welfare check you gotta cash to get a burger around here? Immediately followed by, why'd they send you over? I'm looking for a burger, not converted rice.
Hey, whose fucking welfare check you gotta cash to get a burger around here?
Bold men make bold statements.
Why'd they send you over? I'm looking for a burger, not converted rice.
No one insults complete strangers with that level of creative specificity. But the line that always makes me physically wince is, you knew you were damaged goods and you never fucking told me?
You knew you were damaged goods and you never fucking told me?
It's one of the meanest things anyone says in the entire show, and that's saying something. The cruelty in it, especially when it's about something completely out of Adriana's control, is brutal. Chris is written as this tragically sympathetic screw-up on the surface, but then you remember his abuse of Adriana and the innocent people he was willing to kill at the drop of a hat, honestly worse than almost anyone besides Paulie or Ralph, and suddenly the sympathy dries right up.
Pissed on the car seats, but he handled himself very good. No cowboy shit, nothing. Are you listening to me?
Still, only Christopher could piss on the car seats and have someone go, but he handled himself very good. Only Christopher could wonder aloud, you ever think what a coincidence it is that Lou Gehrig died of Lou Gehrig's disease?
You ever think what a coincidence it is that Lou Gehrig died of Lou Gehrig's disease?
Only Christopher could compare himself favorably to male models and complain about douchebags in the same breath. He is chaos incarnate, a poet of delusion, the patron saint of unintentional comedy. And truly, the man's lines will live forever. Uncle Junior breaking up with Bobby Sanfilippo is honestly one of the saddest moments in The Sopranos.
Bobby's a sweet, sweet girl.
Bobby was an absolute catch. Beautiful, especially for her age. Sweet, and above all, completely in love with Corrado. Any scene with the two of them together has this effortless chemistry, like they're genuinely enamored with each other. And they were.
What?
Did I tell you to keep that goddamn mouth shut?
No, Corrado, don't hit me!
The problem, of course, is that Bobby couldn't keep her mouth shut.
Gabby Dante's cousin and Bobby go to the same nail parlor. Your uncle has acquired a taste for her.
Uncle June gives head.
World class.
The old man's whistling to the wheat field?
Don't be disgusting.
Carmela tells Tony that Junior likes to whistle through the wheat fields. Bobby repeats it, And next thing you know, she's got a cake in the face and a one-way ticket out of Junior's life.
But I never should have raised him about eating pussy. This whole war could have been averted. Cunnilingus and psychiatry brought us to this.
Setting aside that the whole cunnilingus and psychiatry brought us to this storyline is one of the funniest arcs in the show, Bushman of the Kalahari still floors me every time.
Oh, he's a Bushman of the Kalahari.
Grano, don't leave. I love you.
The breakup itself is brutal. They really were a good couple, and even Junior knew it. The man was practically in tears after dumping her.
Bobby Sanfilippo. Junior hasn't kept time with her in years.
It's even sadder when you think about where he ends up. Alone, deteriorating, stuck in a psychiatric facility. If he'd stayed with Bobby, I'm convinced she would have cared for him better than Bobby or Tony ever did. But yeah, he was still a piece of trash who arguably deserved the ending he got, and Bobby definitely dodged a bullet by not sticking around. It's just sad. Junior let go of the last person who truly loved him because, in mafia logic, performing oral sex on a woman is apparently gay. Incredible. Also, season 1 girlfriend named Bobby, later assistant named Bobby? I mean, come on. That's not a coincidence. That's symbolism, allegory, Shakespearean stuff right there. We could never figure it out, even with computers.
You stupid fucking blabbermouth cunt!
In that moment, when he called her a blabbermouth cunt, Junior basically sealed his own fate. He knew it was the last time he'd ever be truly happy, and he was right. That was his final chance at a real, loving partner, and he torpedoed it for the dumbest reason imaginable. After that, Tony slowly disassembled his life, mocked him into the breakup, dismantled his crew, had his protege killed, and finally helped line him up for the FBI. Junior went from a powerful mob boss to a frail old man imprisoned in his own home as his mind collapsed. All because he couldn't handle a little wheat field whistling becoming public knowledge. What a tragedy. What a comedy. What a show.
You're gonna have to act like one.
Who gives a fuck, DNR, no DNR?
Janice. Absolute menace. Aida Turturro deserves an award for playing someone so unlikable that I genuinely wanted to slap the screen once or twice.
Wow.
Richie, if something's happening to you, then it's happening to me.
The only times I felt even a shred of sympathy for her were when she was with Richie, and during that dinner with Tony where she was really trying, and he just couldn't stand the thought of her being happy.
You come right into town like some Vishnu come lately trying to play the concerned daughter. Who the fuck are you kidding? You're just here to pick the friggin' bones.
Janice is the walking embodiment of gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. And honestly, that's what makes her hilarious. I know people that manipulative in real life, and watching her bounce between personas, trying to reinvent herself, is just incredible television.
And blowing roadies.
Roadies?
Oh, you don't want to know.
That is not true, Tony. Now, you tell him that that's not true.
Poor fucking Janice, she's so fucking depressed.
She was out doing acid and hooking up with roadies, while Tony was back home taking care of the family business. Yet somehow she shows back up, acting like the wounded spiritual queen of New Jersey.
Because I feel born again in the Lord.
And I still can't get over her breakup with Ralph. She tries to handle it with sensitivity, just like her therapist advised, by yeeting him down a flight of stairs and wrecking his spine. The man looked so happy to move in with her literally a minute earlier, then limps back out the door with that defeated little, "I'll kill you, bitch."
I'll kill you, bitch.
It's the only moment I ever felt bad for him. Janice really is her mother fully realized.
One of them.
Fucking piece of shit!
Yeah, just like your mother, huh? Now you can do to him what she did to Dirty.
A toxic shapeshifter of a person, arguably worse than Tony in some ways. Even Junior couldn't stand her, and he was a handful himself. The difference between Janice and Livia is simple. Livia would have been a real gangster if she'd been born after the feminist movement. Janice would have been dead in 2 weeks. And listen, talk all the trash you want, but in this house, Janice is a hero. End of story. Still, I'll give her this. When Tony came over for dinner and she genuinely seemed happy, calm, and in control, he couldn't handle it. He had to bait her into losing her temper. Tony was so miserable that he couldn't let anyone else have even a scrap of peace of mind, even his own sister. By the time Finn tells Meadow about Eugene pounding little Polly into the floor, she's already built up a whole psychological firewall around the violence in Tony's world.
Gene, relax.
You okay? All right. Eugene Pontecorvo? He's so sweet.
Sweet? He was like an animal.
Her reaction, basically shrugging and calling Eugene a sweet guy, is pure denial. You've got her boyfriend clearly rattled, spelling out exactly what happened, and she might as well be hearing static.
You know, you talk about these guys like it's an anthropology class.
At that point, she's operating with so much cognitive dissonance that actually confronting the foundations of her cushy life, built on threats, bodies, and general mayhem, would probably cause her brain to fold in on itself. Meadow and AJ both float around in this privileged bubble where they have only the vaguest idea of what Tony does all day.
When I asked you earlier what Dad does for a living, you said waste management, wink wink. What does wink wink mean?
Meadow treats him like some harmless, old-school, union-skimming, gambling racket mascot. Not a guy who orders beatings before breakfast. AJ is even worse. Ignorant and dim. The kid got fired from Blockbuster. They practically let rhesus monkeys shelve DVDs there. Naturally, he's extra delusional. And sure, all of them, Carm included, benefit from Tony's profession, whether they admit it or not. Meadow's definitely sharper than AJ, but she still plays mental gymnastics to avoid the obvious. She learned everything she needed to know the second she handed Jackie Jr. that Scatino car.
But the truth is, they bring certain modes of conflict resolution from all the way back in the old country.
And yet, she keeps constructing this reality where the mafia isn't real. Like that moment earlier in the show when she and her friends are debating organized crime in the kitchen, and Meadow insists it's basically a myth. That's not naivete. That's brand loyalty. In my mind, she does know. She's watched Casino. She's found hidden contraband. She's attended enough funerals to fill a yearbook. But the only way she can stay sane, while loving Tony and living off his crimes, is to tell herself and everyone else that it's not that bad. So she tries to be a good person, maybe as karmic compensation, and spins these little denial fairy tales to outsiders. It's her way of staying in the life without actually acknowledging the life. I think your reaction has less to do with Tony Soprano and Don Draper themselves, and way more to do with their wives. From the jump, Betty Draper is portrayed as innocent, childlike, and utterly unsuspecting. Meanwhile, Carmela Soprano walks into her marriage with her eyes halfway open. She knows, at least in some corner of her mind, what being a mob wife entails.
Father, turn it off. I can't handle it.
And she has coping mechanisms. Father in Tintola, the mob wife group, the little crushes on the wallpaper guy, and Furio Junta. Carmela may be constrained, but she's not powerless. Betty, on the other hand, is completely in the dark. She's isolated, unprepared, and emotionally unequipped. She doesn't even start standing on her own feet until season 2. So when Don Draper cheats, you feel more anger because you're basically helping Betty feel the things she can't articulate yet. He reads as fundamentally more dishonest and disrespectful because Betty never signed up for this life, the way Carmela implicitly did. There's also the fantasy factor. Tony's Gumars tend to be younger, hotter, and slotted neatly into the male gaze logic the show plays with. Immoral, sure, but easy for the audience to understand on a lizard brain level. Meanwhile, Don's early affairs make no aesthetic sense. He's cheating on Betty, who is absurdly attractive and sweet, with women who don't hold a candle to her. The audience doesn't even get a fantasy-based rationale until his backstory drops, and we realize he's basically haunted by whorehouse-imprinted wiring.
A long time ago, I told you that you were going to go to hell when you died, when you had that MRI.
And comparing the way Betty leaves Dawn to the way Carmela can't quite permanently leave Tony is borderline allegory. Betty had the financial safety net. Dawn keeps supporting her. But emotionally, it's brutal. Carmela, meanwhile, has every emotional reason to run and every material reason to stay. The contrast casts Dawn's cheating as corrosive in a domestic, existential way, while Tony's feels almost procedural, built into the marriage's architecture. Plus, The Sopranos simply handles the cheating arcs better.
Just 1 hour more.
Tony has, what, 3 major Gumars? Irina, Gloria, Valentina. The rest are one-scene detours. Dawn, on the other hand, has about 15 to 20 flings, each getting 2 or 3 episodes. Too much for throwaway characters, but not enough to make them memorable like Gloria. They blur together. You can barely track them. And ultimately, Tony is still committed, in his twisted way, to Carmela and the kids. Dawn never manages that with either wife. His commitment flickers on and off like faulty wiring. So yeah, that's why Dawn's cheating pisses you off more. Tony's is baked into a moral world that Carmela understands. Dawn's is detonating a world Betty didn't even know could explode. I'll take that Coke and slice now. If Tony goes down, whether he gets clipped or winds up in handcuffs, you're basically left with Paulie and Patsy as the last men standing. Patsy's technically still a soldier, Paulie's a capo, and both of them have taken enough blows over the years that it's hard to imagine either one feeling particularly triumphant.
Your brother was your twin brother. Billy. Friends, like us, called him spoons.
Patsy would still be stewing over all the wise guy nonsense he's swallowed. His brother getting whacked, Chrissy leapfrogging him with promotions, even Tony selling the family chicken joint.
Bully, look. The guy's a boss. You visit a guy in the can these days.
Meanwhile, Paulie, in true Paulie fashion, would probably cozy up to Butchie in the New York crowd, acting like he'd been on their side since birth. Who, me? I was always with you guys. Sure, the crime family is bigger than what we see on screen, so a bunch of nameless guys would inevitably get bumped up to fill the gaps. Paulie and Patsy would end up running things, at least on paper, but it'd never resemble the old days. Paulie just doesn't have the brains or temperament to be a real boss, and Patsy, dependable as he may be, isn't exactly leadership material either. The whole thing would probably just slowly come apart at the seams.
Silverado crew.
Really?
Fucking thing is one big ATM machine. It's all our construction with New York. Falls right into your kick.
Yeah.
And honestly, Paulie doesn't even want the throne. He's happiest as a loyal foot soldier. Well, a foot soldier who outranks everybody but still reports to someone. He turned down the promotion Tony offered him in the finale for a reason.
My face is the last one you'll see, not Tony's. It won't be cinematic.
Patsy, for his part, is trustworthy only until he's not, and he doesn't have much name recognition outside their little world. So in a weird way, Paulie is the perfect boss after Tony. Too old school to flip, too oblivious to realize he's not actually in charge.
Don't it happen that identical twins a lot of times?
It'd be like Season 1 Junior all over again, only with even less strategy and even more superstition. Honestly, if Furio had actually shoved Tony into those helicopter blades in Eloise, the fallout depends entirely on what people could prove.
Mr. Soprano, Greg Irwin, you got any luggage?
And in this case, Tony was drunk, wobbling around inches from a spinning propeller while eating sausage like it was his last day on Earth.
Where's Furio?
He couldn't get a flight out of Rome in time, so I'm driving again today.
Furio could have played the whole thing off as a tragic klutz moment and been on a plane to Naples before anyone finished screaming. Sure, people would have suspicions. They always do. Especially if Carm suddenly decided that, oh wow, Italy sounds amazing this time of year, and vanished right after.
He disappears. He never comes home. They know, but they don't know.
They'd think maybe Furio did it. If. They'd know, but they don't know. The classic Sopranos limbo, where everyone shrugs and moves on because there's no proof, just vibes. And as for repercussions in Italy, please.
He gets them from Italy. His father owns a steamship company.
His family connections would wrap him up like a protected relic. Nobody over there is losing sleep over some pseudo-boss from a satellite crew in Jersey. But the thing is, Furio probably wouldn't get any grand reward out of it.
Top 3 guys.
Paulie Gattieri?
No, management. Tony Soprano, obviously. Plus Silvio Dante, and we think Bobby Bacglieri.
Sil would step up as boss, hire a new driver, and Furio wouldn't exactly be promoted to Prince of the Realm. Carmela's crush would fizzle once the fantasy evaporated, and he'd end up right back in Italy anyway, minus the headaches.
Exceeds the required minimum for licensure, as you're now board certified in massage and body work by the state.
Meanwhile, Tony B might actually go straight, since he wouldn't be hanging around watching Tony's lifestyle and stewing in envy.
He's never gonna give up that fucking animal blundetto.
And if he didn't go straight, well, Phil would get to take him out cleanly. The bad blood gets rinsed out, and the whole New York-New Jersey war might never happen. In short, Furio could have done it, could have gotten away with it, and the world of The Sopranos would have twisted itself into a surprisingly tidy alternate timeline. Subscribe and stay tuned.